guard supporters, but they are not allowed to carry guns or whatever. So what good are they doing?
It is exactly, because not here, she made the great point, in case you couldn't hear her. We're having a deja vu all over again, in the words of Yogi Berra. It's the gimmick that Jano, as I used to call her, undue affectionately, Janet Napolitano used to get accolades from Bill O'Reilly and the guys back east who didn't bother to check. Oh, yeah, we put the National Guard in place, but they're not there to supplement the Border Patrol and really enforce the border. The Guard was sent down during Jano's time as governor to change oil on Border Patrol vehicles and to act as office temporary help. And what's worse, this much vaunted plan, as you hear the senior senator trying to cling to our junior senator, John Kyle and I have introduced a 10-point plan. If McCain were serious about border protection, he would have introduced the Enforcement First Act again. Yeah. That the whole thing would make some bonuses for so-called 5,000 or 6,000 troops. Under this bill, they wouldn't be there for another 5 years. They wouldn't be there till 2015. It is a gimmick. There have been no hearings on it. There's exactly one co-sponsor, and Mr. McCain's committee, his good buddy Joe Lieberman, chairs it. There has been no markup of the bill's schedule. That tells you all you need to know. It is a political gimmick instead of a serious piece of legislation. But you're quite right. They put the Guard in place as a prop, not to prevent any actions under this current regime. The same thing with Mr. McCain.
Sylvia has a question, and then I'm going to have that group next. Somebody over there.
J.D., why do you think there is such a insistence among the federal government not to secure our borders? Why do you think they won't do it?
It's real simple. If those folks were going to vote Republican, Barack Obama would have no problem sealing the border. There's a new name for illegals, and maybe this will make the Arizona Republic half placated. You know, they always love to use the term undocumented workers. Here's the more accurate term: they're undocumented Democrats. That's all this is about.
I don't have a question, just a comment kind of following up on Sylvia. One of the things that attracts me about true leaders in government is the responsiveness of whoever we elect. A little background on me. I spent my time in the fire service, the chief officer in Arizona. And JD knows that every April we have several thousand fire chiefs show up at the Capitol. And it's our time to go and visit our representatives and our senators and spend some time talking about serious issues: terrorism, the funding to keep staffing on fire apparatus and build fire stations, all kinds of things. 4 years I attended this gathering, and each and every year, visiting with Senator McCain's office, Hayworth's office, other House members, JD was the only one that welcomed us into the office and sat down and listened to us. The others had staffers. There's nothing wrong with staffers, because the reality is staffers get a lot of the grunt work done. But it was sincere, and he was responsive, and the only one that would visit us on a regular basis. And I thank you for that. And that illustrates what Sylvia's saying. JD was responsive. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Gave us 2 ears and one mouth. Got to listen to lead. And I'll be listening to you, and we'll have a whole lot of town halls. I'll be coming to you, but I always will welcome you back there. Yes, sir.
JD, great comments. I'm concerned about what my grandkids are going to have to face in light of the national debt and what's going on in spending. I wonder if you talk a little bit about that, and it affects both the federal and the state government. An interesting comment came out recently about the states having the right to file bankruptcy, which gives them the power to change contracts or the court to change contracts. Your comments on this, because it's a fundamental issue, I think, we've got to really deal with.
Well, when we're dealing with the whole notion of our future financial, I think back to one of the missteps we made early in our contract with American days. The left was running around, you're going to throw grandma off Medicare, you're going to starve school kids. And we went into a defensive crouch rhetorically. We'd say, no, we're just reducing the rate of growth in spending. For any number of programs, mostly on the so-called discretionary side, there's no kind of rhetorical defense like that anymore. We have no choice but to usher in a new age of austerity. We have to save it for your grandkids and my kids, and one day I hope my grandkids. We just don't have that choice. It will be unsustainable, even in terms of so-called entitlements. My old colleague, Paul Ryan, served with me on the Ways and Means Committee, now the ranking Republican on the Budget Committee in the House. He started to take an in-depth look at entitlements. I've taken a cursory look at what he suggested. Can't say I checked off on everything, but one thing I understand from my generation, I was born in 1958. More American men were born that year than any other in our history. It is the very apogee of the baby boom, and I understand that even though people didn't focus on it, when Reagan and Tim O'Neill had their big bipartisan Social Security rescue group back in the early 80s, they raised the retirement age for my generation. Didn't say a lot about it, but it's going to go even higher, demographically and financially, for my generation, not for those already retired. But you think about it, where do we line up in history? I'll even quote a Democrat, just to make this observation. FDR said this: to different generations fall different responsibilities. Think about it. Our grandparents fought wars. Our progeny is on the ground fighting wars. My generation's responsibility will be to mind the store, to get our financial house in order. We are not helped with the notion of states filing bankruptcy, because you see the mess that became California. The book was written by Victor Davis Hanson years ago, Mexifornia, and you see California's headlong rush into third world status. And we have had the great and good sense to stand up at the statewide level. We need a United States senator who will not only stand up for Arizona, not rush back into the arms of the elites, not put our financial house in greater disarray with an amnesty bill that this time, there's new terminology. If you haven't seen the letters, Mr. McCain's office presented a letter to constituents back in April. And he says, in addition to the fact that I oppose amnesty, then he says we have to offer these people incentives and regularize their status. Dan will remember that from '86. Regularize was the word used in Simpson-Mazzoli. If you entrust this nomination to the senior senator again, he will, for the third time, rush into the arms of Barack Obama. They won't call it amnesty, they'll call it regularization. You want to make a change? It's time to regularize our senator's status, make him a citizen, and send a conservative to Washington, D.C.